So do you have what it takes to be in my team? You've got to have your FIFA game on point. Who's winning the tournament then?
I'm winning the tournament. I'm winning the tournament.
Come on.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily, the early edition. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are right now across the world. And we're counting it down, 7 days to go until it all returns back. The Premier League kicks off with two big games, but of course, the big one is Arsenal visiting the Etihad, our postponed game, visiting the Etihad to take on Manchester City, big as it comes for the first game. And we are all really looking forward to it. The players are training hard. Everybody's getting ready. Everyone's getting motivated. It's interesting to see that so many players being interviewed are saying, listen, I just can't wait to get back on that pitch again and kick a ball, which really goes against what a lot of the newspapers were reporting at the time, which they were saying, oh, these players, they don't really want to go back. Oh, the players are all saying they're scared and that. And what I was hearing at the time from insiders at Arsenal was quite the opposite. The players are frustrated being at home. They want to play. And the right steps have been taken. There's been lots of testing going on. In the last round of tests, there were no positives, which is brilliant. We're starting to see many things now across the UK opening back. All non-essential shops going to be opening back from Monday. So a sense of normality starting to come back to this, well, to the UK anyway. We still got a way to go, but it's good to see football back, and it's good to see some businesses being able to sort of open back up, and let's hope a lot of those can survive. Obviously, a lot of them still in trouble, and it's not been the same right across football. We see that League One, you know, yesterday ended their season. League Two have ended their season. You know, the French League, the Dutch League, the Belgian League, you know, all ended. So it's going to be tough for football going forward, but the quicker we can try and get things back to normal, the better for football, the better for everybody, the quicker we can try and get things back to normal. But of course, we're living in a time, crazy time, with this coronavirus, and we have to try our hardest to defeat it. And there's a lot of talk that when the football does start next week, the Premier League in discussions with a lot of teams about what they can do to really, you know, mark the memory of all of those people that have passed away due to the coronavirus. You know, over 40,000, remember, in the UK have died because of coronavirus. It's frightening. And there's plans for tributes to all those people that have died, and I think that's so fitting. There's also plans for things to mark the Black Lives Matter movement, which again, that's another very positive thing. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to, try and watch the show that I did last night with ex-Arsenal striker Kevin Campbell. He was absolutely amazing on the show last night. So many great opinions. The stuff that he said regards to the whole Black Lives Matter, he was brilliant on that. Some of the stuff he said about Arsenal, on Aubameyang, listen, it's just great when you get an ex-player like him who's so opinionated, who's not scared to talk his mind, and so passionately loves Arsenal Football Club. It is brilliant, and he was amazing on the show last night. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, please do so. And we were discussing, of course, on the show, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. When don't we discuss Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? There's a lot of reports saying today that Arsenal are prioritising re-signing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang over any transfer. They see this as the most important thing that they have to get done, getting him to sign a new contract. Well, hello, we could have told you that a couple of months ago, you know. But and they're said to be focusing in on his dad. They see his dad, who's also his agent, as the key to getting him to sign a new contract. I didn't realize that his dad was his agent. Now, his dad has said before, sign the thing. So if he's his agent, you know, come on, Dad, come on, Papa Aubameyang, get him to sign that thing. But if that is true, that is the priority, that is good news. We do need to get Aubameyang to sign. Of course, we need signings as well. We need other signings. But I agree, the priority should be re-signing him. And Kevin Campbell spoke so well on this last night as an ex-striker, saying that, listen, Robbie, the guy's just a natural goal scorer, always scores every season, everywhere he goes. It is absolutely essential that Arsenal sign him up. So let's see if that happens. If they don't, could they move for Luka Jovic? We've spoken about Jovic before on the show many a times earlier on when the whole lockdown happened. We were speaking about Jovic. Jovic, of course, who plays for Real Madrid, 22, still very young, got that big money move from Frankfurt to Real Madrid, and it hasn't worked out. As a matter of fact, I suppose you could say it's been a disastrous season for him. Not really scored many goals, not really played a lot for Real Madrid. Real Madrid said to be willing to make him go out on loan in the summer. They don't want to sell him. They invested a lot of money in him. He is young, but they're willing to let him go out on loan. Now, obviously, this interests Arsenal because we know that Arsenal are looking more towards loan deals and swap deals come this summer because of the whole lack of money due to the pandemic. So they might be interested, especially if Aubameyang was to leave. It might be the perfect thing to do, get in Jovic on loan. Of course, it wouldn't be a cheap loan deal because I would presume he's on quite high wages, but he wouldn't be on as high wages as what Aubameyang's on now. So it would be something that could be sort of a stopgap until maybe we fill that role for Aubameyang. But Jovic being considered by Arsenal if that loan deal is possible to be done. Another player that Arsenal are looking at, and again, as I said, we're looking at a lot of loan deals. We're looking at a lot of free transfers, loans, anything like that. Cheap, basically. Arsenal looking at Thiago Silva of PSG. Now, Thiago Silva, the captain of PSG, captain, Brazil, decorated player, used to be, I'd say, used to be rated as the best, at one time, rated as the best centre-back in the world. And, you know, has been a real, you know, top player for PSG, real leader on the pitch. However, he's 35 now. So, you know, he's getting, you know, he's getting old, very old in football terms. 35, available as a free agent at the end of this season. Remember, PSG, they bought him for a massive fee at the time, £37.5 million in 2012. Available on a free transfer at the end of the season. PSG are not offering him a new deal. They have actually extended his current contract, but that's only so that he can play in the cup competitions and the Champions League. Remember, as I said a little earlier, the season in France finished early, but they are going to fulfill the cup games apparently. And of course, there's still the Champions League, which they are still in. Arsenal, of course, inevitably linked with a move for him. What do you guys think? 35, would you go for Thiago Silva? You know, as I said, he is a top centre-back. The only thing I'd say is that I saw him play a couple of games this season. I remember watching him, I think it was the first game against Dortmund. He got absolutely skinned. You know, he just was not quick enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's up against Haaland, and Haaland is lightning quick, and there's a lot of Dortmund players that are very quick, but unfortunately, that's the thing that sometimes age does. It slows you down, and he just didn't seem quick enough. And I've seen him in a couple of other games as well, where, again, defensively, still got it, still strong, still a leader on the pitch, but pace. And the Premier League is a very, very fast league with lots of very quick and pacey players. Would he fit it at this age? You know, listen, there's other players in the Premier League that, you know, we've got David Luiz, remember, he's like, what, 33, but it's still a couple of years younger, but 33. And he, at times, you can see, finds the pace a problem. So that would be my thing. on Thiago Silva. He's got everything else, and why are PSG not renewing? You know, so could we go for Upamecano? We've been linked with him for God knows how long. We all know that, you know, Arsenal are interested in him. They've made inquiries about him before. Still only 21, Upamecano. Very well thought of as a centre-back. And his contract's expiring in 2021. So he hasn't got long left on that deal, right? And RB Leipzig have got a decision to make on him. Now, previously, they've come out and they said, listen, we're not going to sell him this summer because there's no point, because we're not going to get the right and proper amount of money that we want for him. So there's not really any point in selling him because nobody's going to have the money because of the pandemic. However, their sporting director came out earlier this week with a very interesting quote. And these are his quotes on Upamecano. He says, Upa is an extremely important player for us and one of the most sought after talents in Europe. And we can assure that we have a clear understanding with him and his agent. He won't leave us on a free. We can't afford that as a club. There are only two options, prolong or leave. I'm sure we'll soon find out which direction it's going. So basically, what they're saying to Upamecano, sign a new deal to extend your contract or leave at the end of the season. They're not going to make his contract run right down so that he can go on a free. They, you know, RB Leipzig saying we just simply can't afford to see a player of his value walk away for nothing. So we'll sell him. So he will be available this summer by the sounds of that, unless he signs an extension to his contract. Upamecano will be available. Should Arsenal move in for him and try and get this done? An Upamecano-Saliba combination seems really exciting at Arsenal. Two very young players and could be the guys that build for the future at the back. Really interesting to see what's going to happen with him. Could Arsenal afford an Upamecano this summer? This is where the cash injection could help, Stan. Because, you know, he's available. That's what they're saying there. They're saying, sign a new deal or we're going to have to sell you. That means he's available. Arsenal should be moving for a centre-back of his quality, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know. We've been linked for a few weeks now with Syed Benrahma. Benrahma, who plays for Brentford in the Championship, is having another excellent season. Since he's joined Brentford, he scored 21 goals and had 25 assists in all competitions. He joined Brentford from, I think it was Nice. Yeah, Nice in 2018. Still pretty young, 24, so he's still a young. This season, he's had 10 goals and 8 assists, been having a fine season and is available. Lots of clubs looking at him. Brentford said to want about £35 million for him. Forget that. It's absolutely no chance they'll get that. But, you know, they will command a decent fee for him. The one thing I look at it and say, why would Arsenal want Benrahma? Another winger? We've got enough wingers, man. Reece Nelson's coming up. We've got Pepe, Saka, Martinelli. It goes on and on and on. We don't need another winger. He's a good player, but that is not what Arsenal needs. And, you know, I wouldn't want to see Arsenal doing their budget on a Benrahma. And I don't think that's going to happen anyway, but it's just one of those rumours that's floating around. And Emile Smith-Rowe, of course, on loan at Huddersfield this season, has been doing really, really well. Still only 19, remember, Smith-Rowe. And a lot of people are saying that, you know, could be time to bring him back to Arsenal. Well, his loan's going to get extended because a lot of the loan deals, of course, expire at the end of this month. Arsenal have agreed to extend his loan deal so that he can continue to play for Huddersfield. Huddersfield, of course, are going to be resuming in the Championship. And Emile Smith-Rowe, speaking to a lot of people who've watched him play this season, and a friend of mine who's a big Huddersfield fan, has been their best player and they're desperate to keep him. Well, they're going to be able to keep him to the end of the season, and he's done really well on loan. Going to be interesting to see what happens with him. Do we bring him back at the end of the season and assimilate him into the Arsenal team? It was interesting last night when I was chatting to Kevin Campbell, that he was saying that he feels Eddie Nketiah should go out on a loan as well for a whole season, or at least half a season, so he can get constant game time, because he said he believes in him, but he still doesn't think he's quite ready yet. So that was interesting. Let's get into some of your comments today. Let's start. Oh, that disappeared on me as usual. Take Me Back says, Thiago Silva is 35 years old. Arsenal, another retirement home. So he's not feeling that one. However, Stephen Cook says, Thiago Silva would be a good addition for 1 to 2 years, despite his age, and also good tutors for players like Saliba. I mean, you look at it, Vincent Kompany, for instance, at Manchester City. Don't you look at it and say to yourself, I know he had a lot of injuries towards the end, but you look at it and you say, they got rid of him too soon. He was old, but look at the difference with him not being there. You know, he's a winner. He's a leader in that dressing room, a leader on the pitch. They've really, really missed him. Could Thiago Silva do a similar job at Arsenal? Champ7 says, Aubameyang's contract depends on the Man City game. If we win or are able to draw, he might sign. If we lose badly, he might not sign. That's not a bad point, actually. I don't think it's just going to be that game. I think he's going to be looking at a lot of games from now till the end of the season. Toby Rutter says, morning, Don Robbie. Our biggest focus has to be Aubameyang's contract extension, but also to sign Partey and try and win the race for Max Aarons. John B says, Robbie Henry said Edouard will go to the top of football in terms of quality strikers. Edouard, of course, of Celtic. Tyler says, do you think we should sell Xhaka for Mark Roca? Because he has the same passing abilities, but he's younger and faster. I haven't seen enough of Roca, I'm going to be honest. But listen, we definitely need upgrades in that midfield, in my opinion. Kwan Kenny says, hi, Robbie. Kenny from Malaysia. Love your show so much. In your opinion, Aubameyang, Thierry Henry, RVP, and Dennis Bergkamp, who is the best striker? I think he probably means to have played for Arsenal. You've got to go, for me, Thierry Henry. Felix says, Upamecano is not good enough. Ooh. He's good enough. He's young. He's still developing his game. You know what I mean? Again, listen to Kevin Campbell, made some great points on it last night. He's a young player. He's a young player. So he's still going to be raw, but I think he's quality. Danette with a super chat here says, we always blame the defensive players. Does not the same blame belong to the defensive staff? Well, yeah, you know, the manager as well. But, you know, do we have, as you know, good enough quality in those defensive areas? That's the question. Matt Dennis says, if we get Aarons and Upamecano, our back four will be set for 10 years. Stephen Kuhlman says, I think we have a chance against Manchester City. Winfred says, Don Robert, if Jovic comes, him and Xhaka won't get along one bit. Listen, I'm sure they could put aside all those differences between the two countries that they are both from to get on the pitch. We've seen that many a time. I wouldn't see that as a problem. These guys are professionals. Moving to this one. This is coming from Meher. He says, hi, Robbie. As the matches are now behind closed doors, will you still be doing post-match interviews after the Arsenal games? Yes, we will be doing them, but in a bit of a different style. But we're still going to be interviewing fans straight after the game. So keep your eyes out for that. Ben Cook says, no, Thiago Silva, he's like 35 now. Get someone younger, around 27, 28, who's top quality. None of these players who are at the end of their career, it's not good enough. On the Jovic topic, he's young, so don't write him off yet. Give the man a chance and see what he can do. Doubt Arsenal would buy Upamecano and Partey this window. Get Partey now and buy Upamecano next season, or buy a top defender. However, if Upamecano is available this summer, he may not be available next season because somebody will probably buy it. You know, Arsenal got to move fast. And we know it's a tough situation, but they've got to get some money together to try and get the quality in to push the team forward. Lazilio F7 says, hi, Robbie. I think letting Sven go, I think he means Sven Mislintat here, go and promoting Rowe to head of the football transfer was a mistake because Rowe doesn't do real scouting. I like Sven, and he does it the typical Galactico way. But you've got to say, you know, Sven Mislintat, yes, he you know, we brought in Guendouzi, you know, he was looking good. But these guys, when they've come in, Edu and that, they brought in Martinelli, they brought in Pepe, they brought in, they brought Ceballos in, they brought some good players in, you know, they've got Saliba. I don't think they've done a bad job. It's now for the managers to do a good job with these players. Nabil says, do you think we should sell Lacazette and keep Nketiah if Aubameyang signs a new contract? No, we need to keep all three of those players. Keep the strikers strong. Afam says, Arsenal's problem really isn't in defence or attack. Arsenal's weakness is in midfield. The midfield is not strong enough, but then nor is the defence. So there is still a problem in defence. In my opinion, there is a problem there in that area. Jesus Christ, he says, doesn't want William for being 34, yet wants Silva on the other side of 35. Yikes. Who said I wanted Silva? I never said I wanted Silva. Didn't you just hear me say that as far as I'm concerned, and this is my opinion, and I threw it out there to get your opinion and different people's opinions on it, but my personal opinion, no to Silva. He's too old. And I said, I saw him in that Dortmund game in particular, not quick enough. You know, it's not his fault. He's still got the general attributes and abilities, and he's a leader on the pitch, which is something we really lack. But he's too slow for the Premier League, in my opinion, even though he's available on a free transfer, too slow. And there's a lot of very, very quick players. I mean, if he was playing against City this week, he could come up against Sterling, Sane, these sort of guys. They're all, you know, Jesus. They're all lightning quick. So you need a turn of pace in the Premier League. And I don't want Willian either. So, no. King's the Opera says, Robbie, remember how we kept looking at Virgil van Dijk until Liverpool snatched him up? Let's get Upamecano now before we lose him to another Premier League club. Agree with that. Agree with that. Varane says Chelsea are signing Ziyech, Havertz, and Werner, and we are signing a 35-year-old and a Brentford left winger. Now, we're not signing those. It's speculation. And they haven't signed Havertz yet. They haven't even signed Werner. Werner probably will happen. They're interested in Havertz. Yes, of course, Chelsea at the moment are making big moves. They have that transfer ban. They've got a lot more money. So, you know, a lot more money than we have right now, and than the majority of teams in the Premier League to spend, because they basically haven't signed a player for 2 windows. We have spent a lot of money in those 2 windows. Now we got to make those count. Anish says, Robbie, are we headed the Leeds United way if we miss qualifying for the Europa League this year? I don't think so. No, I mean, Leeds United got relegated, you know, so we're not looking in danger of getting relegated or anything like that. But certainly we need to up our game. Shuria, or is it Shuria? I hope I pronounced that right. Said, would you take David Neres? Don't know enough about him to really consider that. I'll take Neves though from Wolves. What a player. Rohan says Thiago Silva is crap now. Haaland ended his career. He's done. He got harassed as well by Zaha. Or he'd get harassed by Zaha. Yeah, those are the type of players he'd be coming up against. Sagar says, I remember when Unai Emery became manager, you had an interview with a person who published his book. In that interview, he said Thiago Silva is very selfish, love from India. I remember that. Yeah, he did say that. But, you know, Thiago Silva is a leader, you know, and leaders sometimes don't always win popularity contests in dressing rooms. Watch the Michael Jordan documentary and you can see that. So I wouldn't look into that too much. He is a leader. Abhinav says, though Silva is free, we will have to pay him a big salary. It's a waste of money on someone so old. Buy a top quality young centre back like an Upamecano, who could be developing to being, you know, a really, really top player. He's not the, you know, and again, this was said by last night by Kevin Campbell. Upamecano is not the finished article. He's far off that. But if you keep him in the next couple of years, him and Saliba, they could become a formidable partnership. If you know, you've got to look forward sometimes with these things. Adiet says, Robbie, love you and love the show. Why have the Coutinho link stopped? And Robbie Ramsey is having a great season at Juve. He's still scoring from midfield. We miss him too much. Yeah, the Coutinho rumours have slowed right down. Probably a lot of rumours you're going to see die out now because the real football's coming back. So people are going to be actually talking about football. And remember, the season hasn't really finished yet. So I think we'll hear a lot more about it when the season is done. Say It says, what are we going to do with another old Brazilian defender? We need to buy players like Ake or young players like Disasi or Gabriel. So he's not feeling that. Varane says, good midfielder to sign is Zakaria from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Mohammed Muse says, Robbie, please, we need a central defender and a strong CDM that can dominate games. Lots of you really getting involved in this. Patrick says, Sven Mislintat scouted Pepe before they came. You were doing Transfer Daily for a season, noting that Arsenal scouted Pepe. Wouldn't be surprised if Sven scouted Saliba as well. But it's these new guys who've got that deal over the line. So you've got to give them the credit for it, you know. I don't think they've done a bad job. I really don't. You know, it's not been a bad job that they've done. Sharia also says, is the director of football more important than the manager in finalising transfers? You could argue that, yeah, he is. You know what I mean? That's his job to do the transfers and finalise the transfers. The head coach job is to, when the transfers come in, is to make sure you get the best out of them, you know, and bring you home a trophy. So, yeah, transfers is director of football's job. Ed says, Aubameyang contract signed is already the best window we could have. You could sign who you want, but can't. Build if you keep letting go. So I think he's saying there that, you know, Aubameyang signing would be the best thing for Arsenal. That would be the best part of the transfer window. Josiah says, Robbie, what do you think of us getting Dwight McNeil? It's a good player, Dwight McNeil. Burnley player. When I've seen him playing, very good player. But I'm not sure, again, another winger. We don't need Dwight McNeil right now. Adiet says, Robbie, will Righty ever come on Transfer Daily? Would pay anything to watch that. We try to get Righty on the show, man, but he's been very, very busy this whole lockdown period. He's a very busy guy. I mean, he's much in demand, but enough respect going out to Ian Wright as usual. CL says, Robbie, how about Ben White from Brighton, currently on loan at Leeds United? And between the three London clubs, who will have the better transfer window? Ben White has been doing very well, very, very well at Leeds. Between the three London clubs, who will have the better window? Well, I think it's going to be quite obvious. It's going to be Chelsea. And there's 4 London clubs, by the way, because West Ham are in there as well. Yeah, Chelsea, you can really see the moves that they're making at the moment. They didn't spend any money in the last 2 transfer windows. They're going to go big. Kyle B, last one for the day. Kyle B says, or for this morning, shall I say, he says, when Aubameyang left Dortmund, he made a lot of noise. He's not making any noise in leaving Arsenal. Unless Real Madrid come in, he is staying. You can't deny a man a promise that he made to his granddad. And let's hope you're right, Kyle, and he does stay. Thanks for watching the show this morning. Make sure you check us out. We'll be back tonight at 8 o'clock. Keep it locked here on AFTV. Games coming back, 7 days to go. We're going to be all over it. We've got some great videos coming out. Check out some of our preview stuff from the Emirates. Check out the video we got coming out where we're going to be giving a rundown of the season so far. You've got to watch that video. Really puts into perspective our season and where we are now and what we need to do going forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.